touch my hair a ton when filming these videos, and I'm so awkward in front of the camera because I don't film sit down videos, and this is a sit down video. Like, I film vlogs. This is a little bit too intimate for me. I hate having straight hair, but I wasn't gonna curl it for this video. Okay, deal with it. Oh darn. 2022 is half over. We're starting the second half, so everyone is uploading a mid-year freak out book tag. This may look like a month's worth of like a reading wrap up, but no, it's my 6 months of reading. We're just going through all of these books that I read in 2022, the first half of 2022, and then talk about how I like them. And I'm going to talk a tiny bit about what the books are about, but not too long because I hate that, because I love going blindly into books. I just want like the trope and stuff. It's currently summer because I do live on the northern hemisphere. I wish I was on the southern hemisphere, but no. And that's why I'm dressed so brightly. Actually, my whole outfit is very bright. My goal of books this year for 2022, we're gonna be 30 books. I'm currently writing my bachelor's thesis, and I knew I would write my bachelor's thesis, and I had a 5-month internship, which meant little reading time. I'm actually quite happy about the 16 book that I read. Let's get right into it. I have already forgotten what these books are about, so I have on my notes app, I have a little bit of like a synopsis and my thoughts. So the first book I picked up in January 2022 was The Play by Elle Kennedy. I've actually read the whole like off-campus series and the Bribe, which is the last one, the Dare, that I'm missing. I'm really keen to read that. Honestly, I love these books. I know they're a little bit like, I don't want to say Wattpad-y because I've never read Wattpad, so I don't know, but they're just very easy. They're like a little reality TV show. You can just binge them and you don't really need to think about it. The trope in this book is friends to lovers, kind of friends. I mean, I do think they start off as friends, but you know, the attraction is always there, but it's basically just a hockey player romance like all of the others. Oh, literally the first sentence in my note app says, I love the friendship between Hunter and Demi, and I love that it was genuinely a friendship before any of the feelings started. What did I just say? It wasn't really a friendship. So it was a friendship. I'm sorry, I got this mixed up, but I did give this 4 stars, and maybe it's a little bit high because it's not a poetic piece of literature, but I don't care. I like this book and it was a fun read. If you see me switching positions all the time, that's because my ankles hurt on the hardwood floor and I'm changing positions all the time. The next book I read in January also was The Maidens by Marie-Claireee. I hate when I butcher names of authors, but I in fact did not look up how to pronounce his name, and I'm a little bit too lazy to do that. Silent Patient was a 5-star read for me, so this one was a 5-star prediction. It was not, it's a 4 stars. Exactly like with the other book, I loved his writing, so it was really easy to get into the book. These are just like page turners, and you won't sit and read the book for ages because you just want to know what happens, which I love with books. A psychological thriller. So this book is about Mariana. She's a therapist. She's going through her own grief right now, and then a murder happens at her old college, also the college where her niece is currently going. The plot twist in his books are just amazing, and honestly I did not guess this one or The Silent Patient. Yeah, the reason why this wasn't a 5-star is because it has like, the beginning had so many unnecessary parts you did not have to have in this book, and there were just characters, I'm not going to say any names or who they are, that were like so unrelated to this book, like to like the plot line of this book. And the next book is gonna be pretty controversial because I know a lot of people love this book and it's like their favorite book. That's why I picked it up. I heard so many good reviews about this book, but I didn't love it. The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Honestly, I give it 3.5 stars. Would I bump it down to 3 stars now? Probably, but I'm just gonna leave it. It's a workplace enemies to lovers. Not my favorite trope at all. I don't know why, but I'm just not into the enemies to lovers trope. This is about Lucy and Josh, and it's their workplace rivalry romance story. They're both fighting for the same job promotion. I loved Joshua Templeman. He is so cute. Even though I didn't love this book, he is the man. And I felt like the enemies to lovers wasn't really done well in this book because they went from enemies to lovers way too fast, in my opinion. I honestly didn't love Lucy in this book, so that's why this is only a 3.5 star for me. Next, I read a Coho book, and I also did a reading vlog about this, and it's up on my channel, so if you want an in-depth review and my reactions and everything, then go watch that video. It's no spoilers, so you can even watch it if you haven't read it. I gave this a 4 stars, and yeah, like I said, if you want to know more about this book, just head on over to that video. It's here, for sure. It's linked here. Next, I started a huge series along with everyone else on BookTube, Bookstagram, and BookTok this year. I started the Addicted series. The Addicted series, I'm sure I don't even have to mention what it's about because everyone has read this, or at least started, or at least heard about it. It's Addicted to You by Christina and Becca Ritchie, and it's about 2 addicts, Lo, who's struggling with his addiction to alcohol, and Lily, who's struggling with her addiction to sex. And they both, at first it starts out, this one is fake dating, and then they become a real couple and they try to help each other, but are they helping? Are they enabling each other? It's basically just their story. And I have to say, I am not as big of a fan as everyone else is. Like, I love this series and it's like so entertaining, and it's just like, it's like a show you want to watch and just put on in the background. That's what I feel about these books. I just want to read them whenever I'm like feeling down or something. But I do think it's hard to get through these if it's like your only book. I've seen a lot of people doing this, that they pick this up whenever they want to read like a couple of chapters just in between like other books, and I feel like that's the way to go with these books because otherwise it just gets boring. And some of the later books are really chunky, like this one's super thin, and the second one in the series, which I read right after, it's also super thin, but then they get chunky. So I feel like read like the first 2 and then take the other books just as like a refresher between other books. I gave Addicted to You 3.5 stars. I gave Ricochet 3.5 stars. And then I read Addicted for Now, which I'm saying this becomes chunky. I gave this 3.5 stars as well. I don't really want to say why I gave them 3.5 stars because I'm gonna have spoilers, so I'm just gonna say that they're like a comfort book and they're like really fun to read, but they're just not overwhelmingly great, and that's why I feel like it's unfair to give them more than 3.5 stars. Then I got my Kindle, my all beloved Kindle. I am a Kindle girly now, a KU girly. And on Kindle, I read 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. 1,000 Boy Kisses is like a childhood friends to lovers, and I know probably all of you have read it already, but let me tell you, this crushed me. It made me cry. Wow. Like, I am a crier when it comes to books, but this book, ouch, it just hurt so much. If I Could Fly, the scene, put the song on, read the scene, you will not stop crying. You will not be okay for months after. Every time that song comes on, I bawl my eyes out, but it's very cheesy, like very cheesy, I have to warn you. In the beginning, I could not look past it, and I was like, oh, I don't want to read this book because it's so cheesy. But then it just like, it just pulls your heartstrings. That's why I gave it a 4.5 stars in the end. Next, another Kindle read was Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, and that was my first 5-star read this year. Wow. I am a fan of the age gap trope. I'm so sorry. I know it's a trope that most people hate, but oh my god, like a hot old guy with like say a young woman. Oh my god, there's just something so hot about the whole trope. I don't like, I can't fault it. I know Birthday Girl is like very mixed opinions, but I give it 5 stars. I thought it was hot. I don't think there was cheating involved as far as I can remember. So this book is about Jordan and Pike, and Pike is the dad of Jordan's current boyfriend. I'm not even gonna say more. Next, I read The Fine Print by Lauren Asher, and I gave it 3.5 stars. Probably shocking to a lot of people, but again, it was like Grumpy Sunshine. Not a fan of Grumpy Sunshine or Enemies to Lovers. Not saying that I don't like them at all. That's why I still picked them up, because honestly I could just leave them if I hated them, but I was just not the biggest fan. And it just like, probably I just took too long to read this book, and then it dragged on, and in the end I was like, I'm over this book. That's why I didn't pick up the next like book right away. But this book is about Rowan and Zara, and it's based in like Disneyland, but it's not really Disneyland, it's Dreamland. Love the setting of this book. So fun, like so unique. Never seen it before. Zara is the happy sunshine girl, but she wasn't too sunshiny, which was like actually nice. And Rowan is like the grump who has to fulfill this task quest that his grandpa sent him on in order to get the inheritance. Next, I read the first book in the Calloway sister series, Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is Rose and Connor's book. I love those two. Honestly, I have to say it was a tiny bit too rough for me. If you know, you know. Honestly, I haven't read the next book in the Calloway sister series, so that's Ryke and Daisy, but I feel like Ryke and Daisy will be my faves because I love a good age gap. Right about now, I'd say Rose and Connor, but I think it's gonna be Ryke and Daisy. This one, I gave 3.5 stars again. Guys, I need something to sit on. Oh my god, my books. That's a great idea. If these books will not hold me, this will be embarrassing. Oh my god, this is perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So this is Emily Henry's new release book, Lovers, and I've read Beach Read and what was it, People We Meet on Vacation before. Love Beach Read, liked People We Meet on Vacation, but I love her writing, and I also loved Book Lovers. I gave it a 4.5 stars. This is about Nora Steffens. I love how everyone, when they give the synopsis of this book, everyone just says it's about Nora, a cutthroat, what was it, literary agent. Everyone uses the cutthroat. I think it's on the back. Yep, it's on the back. That's why everyone uses it. This book is Enemies to Lovers, but I still loved it. That's what I'm saying. I don't hate all enemies to lovers. They're both in like the book publishing industry. They had this one meeting and which didn't go well at all, and then years later they actually meet again in a small town called Sunshine Falls. And the only reason why I gave it 4.5 and not 5 stars was because the whole story with her and her sister was a little bit too much for me. Like, I loved reading about them, but I feel like it was 60% like the sister and her story and 40% Charlie and her story. Just loved Charlie too much to give it 5 stars. And then I read another KU book. All of the books that I'm mentioning from Kindle are KU books. I did not buy one single book. I read A Million Kisses in a Lifetime by Monica Murphy. I gave this book 4 stars. I really liked it. I think it was like 550 pages or something, like over 500 pages. So that was a long book for a romance book. I was kind of scared to get bored, but I didn't really get bored. I did like it. Everyone says this is YA with spice, which I think is so weird because, like, does YA even have spice? Like, is it allowed to have spice? Because this book is spicy. And I definitely hated Crew in the beginning. I do not like when guys feel privileged and like they're worth more than girls, and like he's gonna fuck her up and he wants to hurt her, and like, don't play with a girl's feelings. I'm so sorry. But then, I mean, Crew, come on, we all love him, and then he came around and he was nice, so we can't really fault him. But I did really hate that she could not take a goddamn compliment. And I know I can't take a compliment either, but wow. The next book I read is actually my favorite book of the year so far. And it's Winter in Paradise by Ellen Hildebrand. And I know this is shocking because like most people give this book like 3 stars. I give it 5 stars because like if you combine mystery and romance into one book, it'll just be like one of my favorite books of all time. So it follows Irene, who just lost her husband in a crash and finds out that he has like a whole other life on St. John, which is somewhere in the Caribbean. It's basically her story and her finding out what the deal is, basically. In this book you get it's not dual POV, how did you say, multiple POV? Like, you get the POVs of her sons and different characters in St. John, and I love that, but these chapters, like, they keep you on a cliffhanger every chapter. Like, you finish one person's POV and then it ends on like a cliffhanger, and then a different person's POV comes, so you have to read that until the next time that person comes again. So it also like always keeps you engaged and wanting to find out more, which I love. So then I wanted to start the second book right away. Didn't have the book yet, did order it like right away when I finished that one though. So I read on my Kindle The Bribe by Willa Nash. Why am I holding this up? It doesn't have the copy. I gave this 4 stars, and it basically follows, what's her name? Lucy as well? Is her name Lucy? I think it's Lucy as well. Lucy, who's a country star famous in Nashville. She has a stalker and then goes to, oh my god, I don't know how to pronounce the town's name actually. Calamity? 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 So in my head I say Calamity. I don't know if that's wrong or not. Calamity? 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 Calamity. Probably it's Calamity.
Calamity.
Calamity. I've been saying it wrong this whole time. She basically escapes to Calamity. 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 Which is a super small town in Montana. So it's like a small town romance. Which, wow, I love that as well. And then she meets Duke, who's the local sheriff. It's insta-love. It's so insta-lovey. I have never read a book that's more insta-love than this, but honestly I didn't even mind it. I gave it 4 stars because it was cute and I liked it. And I am currently reading the second book, The Bribe, because it's a series. I think 4 or 5 books. And then the last book I read in the first half of 2022 is the second book of the Paradise series, What Happens in Paradise by Ellen Hildebrand, and this just continues on with the story of Irene and her family, and it really gets into the gist of things of why this like death happened. It leaves on a huge cliffhanger, and I really want the third book. The third book is really expensive, and just a little FYI, because I do want to help you guys out because I didn't know that. You can actually buy these books for 99 cents on Kindle. What did I want to say on Kindle Unlimited? Just on Kindle. You can buy for 99 cents the first book, and this one was $2.99. So if I would have known that, I probably would have done that, because it's just not worth spending like $10 on this if you can just spend like 99 cents. But yeah, and I gave this one 4 stars. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was great. So thank you for watching. That was all the books I read in the first half of 2022. I do hope that I get through with my bachelor's thesis very quick and I read a whole lot more books than the first half. Thank you for watching. Tell me if you want any more book related videos, because honestly right now it's like my biggest passion and my biggest hobby. See you in my next video. Goodbye.